Okay, good morning, everyone. Welcome to Roundtable 2. My name is Lekka. I'm a transport expert and a partner in as the moderator. I'm also acting as the moderator of our very promising intermodal transport network. I will be the moderator for Roundtable 2, focusing on sustainable growth of intermodal transport in the case of the Adriatic-Ionian region. The Roundtable is divided in two parts. The first part will be devoted in the case scenarios, in the testimonials of the partners of Multi-Apro, where the added value of their participation will be presented through the Multi-Apro project. And the second roundtable, the second session will be focused on the future of intermodality in the next years, consisting of where a number of high-level experts provide an insight of this. Okay, so I will begin with the logistics and transport performance. Intermodality has a central role in sustainability of transport systems, enhancing the overall performance through consolidation and using more environmentally friendly modes. Optimized logistics and transport performance are the very objectives of intermodal transport. The main challenges to be addressed are systems automation, environmental protection, social sustainability, and digitalization. Codognotto Group has put such parameters into their services, having developed over the years a strong system of intermodal services. I will give the floor to Matteo Codognotto, the director of Codognotto Group, one of the major logistic companies in Italy, to share their insight, their experience through their involvement in the Multi-Apro project and their activities in relation to intermodal services. Matteo?
Hi, everybody. Let me share my screen. Thank you all for being here today, and thank you especially to the organizers who were able to make it happen, especially during these difficult times. Today, as introduced, I will explain a little bit about our company and what has been doing within the Multi-Apro project. Codognotto is a logistics provider operating in nearly in every country in Europe, specializing in full truckload, both road and intermodal, air and ocean, and contract logistics and distribution. The company was started in 1946 by my grandfather, and throughout the years, the company has been growing in an environment which has been expanding and growing itself. Two main focuses within the growth of the company, intermodality and alternative fuels. As I say, the company has been growing throughout the years. In year 2000, the company was, just to give you an idea of the size, 10 million euro turnover. In 2007, the first intermodal project started, which was from Verona, which is an inland port in the northeast of Italy, to Mugello. In 2020, the turnover is 300 million euro. We run dedicated intermodal services, Poland to Italy, Italy to Benelux, and then we use several different services available on the market. Just to give you an idea, this is the map of our coverage in Europe. We use a lot the intermodal infrastructures in the northeast of Italy, so the Northern Adriatic region, So among them, of course, the port of Trieste, the port of Venice, the inland ports which are in the area, among them Pordenone, Verona. Multi-APRO and the interaction with the ITN has given us has been an extraordinary experience for us. It gave the opportunity to identify and analyze the bottlenecks in the intermodal system here in the region. The main bottlenecks are the rail connections between ports to the ports and between ports and inland terminals. The physical constraints in the ports, which is the canal's depth. Weather conditions, due to the fact that I would say sometimes during throughout the year we have the fog phenomenon, which is actually stopping or nearly stopping the activities, and then some other bottlenecks like the accessibility, rail accessibility in the Mestre station, or the ports entry and exit procedures, which were analyzed and discovered with the other partners. As I said, the intermodal transport network, which was presented in the first session of these presentations, has been a very useful tool for Codognotto, which has had the experience to the chance to exchange experiences, to learn and to increase the knowledge. Codognotto is working on a transport performance strategy tool, a tool which allows the definition of future investments towards the sustainability. And when we talk about sustainability, we talk about environmental sustainability, so the decarbonization of transports, but also social sustainability, especially in a sector like transport, where the human value and the transport performance strategy tool, we expect to carry out KPIs, which will be taken into consideration while selecting our next future investments. This approach must be used, and sorry, I skipped one slide. This you should consider that these kind of tools are already existing in other industries. So actually, we are learning from other industries and adapting these to the transport industries. Considering that the transport and logistic industry is an industry which still struggles to start to thinking about sustainability. So only in the last years we hear about sustainability in logistics, but many other industries started many years before. This approach should be used by all transport companies and will have many benefits. So companies transport and logistics companies starting to think in this way, so in a more sustainable way of thinking, will have for sure as a first impact the reduction of the emissions. But a reduction of emissions means lowering consumptions. Lowering consumption means savings in the budgets. Savings means more profitability. More profitability means more availability in doing afford investments. So it is actually a global effect, which then will have more and better results. I hope I gave you an insight of our company, our organization, and our approach to multi-APRO project and the results we have been having with the participation to this. Thank you very much for your attention. I will leave my contacts in case of any question or any clarification.
Thank you very much, Matteo. It is always interesting to hear that business combines innovation, sustainability, strategies, and at the end of the day, policies. Continuing with our next speaker, Darko Plećaš, who is the head of the IT department at the Port of Ploče and the responsible person for the EU projects. The Port of Ploče is located in the center of the Adriatic. It is one of the main ports of Croatia. The port has been expanding the last years, having new 7 terminals to serve the increasing freight traffic and become an intermodal hub of Southern Europe. Darko, please share with us your experience through the multi-APRO involvement and your priorities as a port. Thank you.
I'd like to speak for our participants today on the thematic on the multi-APRO for Albania and Albania National Working Group and Albania Intermodality, part of the intermodal transport network in the region. We have been very pleased to meet with all of you, with Greece, Croatia, Slovenia, Montenegro, and Italia. Let me show you the screen, which I would like to share with the stakeholders now, in order to say that Albania has been very engaged to establish the Intermodal Transport Center nationally-wide, with a center in Tirana, in the form of the non-profit organization and the organizational startup between the Albanian Institute of Transport and the DNC partners in the multi-APRO. In the heart of capital of Tirana, Albania, it is under the multi-APRO and the new multimodal transport center in Durres also as an affiliation, and one in Saranda. The coordination of Albanian Institute of Transport has been with the General Maritime Directorate, which supervises 5 ports for Albania, including 2 private ports. So the National Working Group and the National Intermodal Center is with the multi-APRO. This is currently in the reconstruction of the building in Tirana. The ITS systems on real-time information deployment are planned, and they cooperate and operate as the web interfaces in the multi-APRO. Not yet, but I shall continue. So, formal strategy in the multi-APRO with the investment project, we have been selecting the Saranda nodal point in the Adriatic and Ionian area as a global touristic key point, and the improvement of the transport facilities and services in the port to improve access to new markets, to create new jobs, especially to young, to increase the passenger traffic and increase of area attractiveness, and further touristic developments in the wider area, including the World Inheritance that is in family of Saranda. The National Coastal Plan for 2030 has foreseen that Saranda shall be a nodal point. This is all a success thanks to multi-APRO. The Saranda port is the most attractive port in the South Ionian region of Albania, which connects the Adriatic motorways of the sea. The location of Saranda near Samili, it is with UNESCO in heritage. So in the multi-APRO, we have done the prioritization process of the survey on Port of Saranda, assisted by the Polytechnic University of Athens, and that we thank very much. Also the external experts of the DNC Consulting and the National Working Group for the Port of Saranda, which has been selected for the interfaces and for the internal rate of return 21% and for the total scoring, which is quite good as the second port in the locations of this multi-apro geographic position. The National Working Group has been done the assessment on the 43 criteria as a strategic relevance assessment under the multi-apro project by the 14 criteria that it is already in the applicable legislation in Albania, and Saranda administration prepares the project identification form according to the strategic relevance assessment for the preselected project. So the transport performance strategy in the multi-apro, it is with an investment project now for the intermodal port of Saranda, which is an upgrade in the nodal port of ShortSeaShipping and motorways of the sea into the three seas initiative, Adriatic-Ionian and Mediterranean regions. The nodal point is the ShortSeaShipping in the Southeast Europe and the Adriatic motorways of the sea has concluded the coastal connectivity between Greece, Albania, Italy, Montenegro, Croatia, and Slovenia in the multi-apro. A global touristic stream point with the expected impact of the investment and the further strategy for transport and touristic strategy implementation. The transport performance strategy under the multi-apro and algorithm has included the port of Saranda and also with its focus on the touristic nodal point for passengers, Adriatic-Ionian and Mediterranean regions traffic indication. Cargo is not affected by subject investment for port of Saranda. In some indicators, Saranda is the second for the internal rate of return and total score in the whole region of multi-apro. For these both indicators, the investment impacts a lot of indicators and categories. The investment and improvement in the overall system performance score. The investment net present value is a positive number, 21%. The available investment contributes to expansion of the company revenues and net profit working during its useful life and total performance scoring. The railway infrastructure manager has been also concluded in the Vlora district, which is in the same district with Saranda, and the multi-apro project promoted here a feasibility study with the investment ready. The intermodal node and upgrade for the rehabilitation of the port includes digitalization, coordination, and inspection. The intermodal transport network has been set up nationally wide and in the region, jointly with the coordinated promotions of the intermodal transport strategy. It is based on multi-apro project and it is signed by 30 project partners, and the declarations of support for this project has been signed from 30 potential stakeholders. During the site visit here, we have included the most main potential stakeholders for the presentation, including the donors, which is the European Bank for Investment, and the project to collection of the bottlenecks by each member of the network. The intermodal transport network meetings have covered all sectors, rail, road, sea, inland waterways, urban, intermodality, the energy, the digital network. The regional meetings have been also welcomed from Slovenia, Athens, Italy, and Croatia, and Montenegro. The meetings have been served to us for exchanging best practices of the region, including Albania. The transfer of knowledge has been also serving the meetings and the members of the coordinator, and the National Working Group worked at solving the transport bottlenecks. The proposed methodology of the multi-apro will be used as a decision-making tool now to determine the impact of every infrastructure investment in all modes of transport. Through the result of this package, we have now in hand a strategy for the transport performance, which was also missing for Albania. It was one of the valid recommendations of the Commission. And now in our multi-apro project, we have collected many bottlenecks, and for majority of the bottlenecks collected, we have found the common solutions. We have been discussing them also in the region with our partners of the multi-apro, for which we have thank them very much for the promotion of intermodal transport and establishment of National Center for the Promotion of Intermodal and Combined Transport, for the increase of intermodal logistics centers, which facilitates the intermodal transport, the construction of rail links in the intermodal terminals in the port and in the future airports like in the Vlora district, and defining a multimodal national strategy, which is now drafting. The multi-apro has been developing 3 national conferences in Albania. In the presentation, you shall find several of them, at most 2. For the all network members were informed on the project achievements so far and the deadline extension and the new memorandum of understanding which has been signed. The progress of work has been that the Ministry of Infrastructure and Energy of Albania has signed and endorsed or first the Memorandum of Understanding, including the extensions of the timeline for the project. The General Directorate of Maritime, which concludes for Durres, Saranda, Port of Vlora, Petrolifera and Shëngjini, Universities of Tirana, Durres and Vlora District, the DNC partners, the external expertise for the project, the Albanian Railway, the Railway Inspection Directorate, Albanian Road Authority, Cooperation Development Institute, Albanian Development Institute, and FAM, the Regional Council, the Prefecture, the Municipality of Durres, Civil Aviation Authority, Albanian Institute of Construction, and private stakeholders as well. At the end, I had prepared the schema just for determining the national working groups and their interfaces with the Memorandum of Understanding of Multi-Apro, at the result and output that have been provided opinions and valid recommendations on solving these bottlenecks. And thank you very much. I was discussing today on behalf of the national coordination of the Albanian Institute of Transport in close coordination with the project manager, which is the engineer Mary Lumi, head of the National Database for Transport, Registrar Andrici, the administrator of the external expertise for the Multi-Apro, DMC, Sibita Kalacu, which is the external expertise on intermodality and communication for this project, and I'm Eneida Elezi, and I thank you very much, Anna.
Thank you so much, Eneida. You have been very informative. Unfortunately, we didn't have the pleasure to see the presentation due to technical issues. However, I know that the presentation will be made available after today's conference. So thank you very much, Eneida. Continuing with our next speaker, Sanja Bojić. She's a professor at the University of Novi Sad at the Faculty of Technical Services. She has extensive experience in transport logistics, in intralogistics and material flow simulation. She has been a project manager in a number of EU transport projects and an expert in the identification of valuable tools for transport performance. Due to the main objectives of the Multi-Apro project, focusing on key performance indicators, Sanja will give us an overview of how valuable such tools are in measuring transport systems. Thank you, Sanja. The floor is yours.
Thank you, Anna, very much. It's a great honor and pleasure to be with you today. I was involved in this project as an external expert for the Port of Bar. And in order to be very precise with time, I recorded my presentation, so I try to be accurate as possible. So if you allow me, I will share my screen now with the presentation about the logistic performance indicators in the Adriatic region. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Sanja Bojić. I am an associate professor at the Faculty of Technical Sciences, University of Novi Sad. And today I will be talking about logistics performance indicators in the Adriatic region. Logistic Performance Index is an interactive tool that was created by the World Bank in 2007. The aim for creation of this tool was to identify challenges and opportunities that face all the countries worldwide, and this tool was supposed to help them to improve their performance. LPI is based on the feedback from the global freight forwarders and express carriers regarding the logistic friendliness of the countries in which they operate in, of course supplemented with the quantitative data on the performance of key components of the logistic chains. It provides average score for each country on the 6 key dimensions. The first one is the efficiency of the custom clearing processes, including required time, simplicity, and predictability of custom formalities. The second one is the quality of transport infrastructure, including roads, railroads, ports, etc. The third one is the ease of arranging competitively priced shipments. The fourth is logistics competence and the quality of logistics services. The fifth is ability to track and trace consignments. And the last one, the sixth one, is the possibility for shipments to reach destination within the expected delivery time. Here you can see the world map with the marked score of LPI for each country in 2018. The darker the color is, the better the LPI score is. So you can see that the North America, Western Europe, Southeast Asia and Australia have the best logistic performance, while the worst performance have the countries in Africa. All Adrian countries, except for Italy, belong to the countries with the middle level of logistic performance. Based on the LPI in 2018 that covered 160 countries worldwide and included almost 6,000 assessments made by the logistic professionals, the top 5 countries in the world were Germany, Sweden, Belgium, Austria and Japan. Out of 160 ranked countries, Adrian countries are almost all in the first 80 ranked ones, neither one in the first 10 and only Italy in the first 20 ranked countries. This table shows the LPI rank and score of Adrian countries in comparison to Germany, the best ranked country in the world. As you can see, the Germany is number 1 with the LPI score 4.2. Italy is 19th with a LPI score 3.74 and Albania 88 with LPI score 2.66. Now I will show you the change of performance of every Adrian country from 2007 to 2018. In this time frame, Italy moved from position 22 in 2007 to position 19 in 2018. Timelines, tracking and tracing, and infrastructure have the best scores. Italy showed some improvement in all 6 criteria. The greatest improvement over this time was in infrastructure, but we can say that customs needs some further improvements. Slovenia moved from position 37 in 2007 to position 35 in 2018. Timelines and infrastructure have the best scores, but there was a worse performance in tracking and tracing and international shipments than in previous years. The greatest improvement was in customs, but there was a small decrease in logistic competence in the last couple of years. We can say that tracking and tracing needs some further improvements. Croatia moved from position 63 in 2007 to position 49 in 2018. The best score has the timelines. There was a significant improvement from 2007 to 2012, but since 2012 there was no greater progress in logistic performance. The greatest improvement was achieved in infrastructure and customs, but tracking and tracing a bit decreased its performance. So we can say that tracking and tracing and international shipments need some further improvements. Bosnia and Herzegovina moved from position 88 in 2007 to position 72 in 2018. Timelines has the best score. There was significant improvement between 2007 and 2012. Unfortunately, since 2012 to 2018, there was no significant progress made. Greatest improvement was in international shipments and in timelines, but unfortunately, we can say that infrastructure and customs need further improvement. Serbia moved from position 115 in 2007 to position 65 in 2018. Timelines has the best score. There was significant improvement from 2007 2007 to 2014. Unfortunately, between 2014 and 2018, there was no greater progress. The greatest improvement was achieved in international shipments and timelines, while infrastructure and customs still need some further improvements. There is no LPI score for Montenegro in 2007, because Montenegro was in union with Serbia until 2006. So the first LPI score of Montenegro is from 2007, when Montenegro was ranked as 121st, but it moved to position 77 in 2018. We can see that timelines has the best score. There was also significant improvement from 2010 until 2014, but since 2014 there is no greater improvement. They showed significant improvement in logistic competence, and also there was improvement in timelines and in infrastructure. But we can say that infrastructure and customs, as well as tracking and tracing, need some further improvements. Albania moved from position 139 in 2007 to position 88 in 2018. Timelines has the best score and the best improvement. Also, there was some significant improvements from 2007 to 2012, but since 2012, unfortunately, there is no improvement. Greatest improvement was in timelines, tracking and tracing, and there was also significant improvement in logistic competence. Unfortunately, infrastructure and customs need some further improvements. Greece moved from position 29 in 2007 to position 42 in 2018, so there was a decrease of logistic performance, and this decrease was mostly since 2014 to 2018. Timelines and international shipments have the best scores. There was a decrease of performance in all 6 criteria, except in customs and international shipments. And we can say that infrastructure and customs need some further improvements. Where are Adrian countries in comparison to the rest of the world? We see that most of the Adrian countries are in the second quintile, recognized as consistent performers. Only Italy moved to the top quintile, recognized as a logistically friendly country, while Albania is still a bit behind in the third quintile as a partial performer. And to conclude, in order to improve their logistic performance, most of the Adrian countries still require construction and reconstruction of transport infrastructure and simplifying and speeding up of custom procedures. We can say that all Adrian countries are well performing on timelines. We can say that also there is a relation between logistic competence and overall LPI, because the countries that are constantly improving their logistic competence have linear improvement of their overall LPI. And towards the future, according to the World Economic Forum, there are the following 8 mega trends that will drive the future of logistics. The first is logistics skills shortage, then reconstruction of global value chains, resilience, digital transformation, sustainability of supply chains, e-commerce, logistic infrastructure, and collaborative business models. That would be all from my side for today. Thank you very much for your attention. If you have any questions, please do not hesitate to ask.
the LPI provides an average score for each country on the 6 key dimensions. The first one is the efficiency of the custom clearing procedures, including the time, simplicity, and predictability of custom formalities. The second one is the quality of transport infrastructure. The quality of transport infrastructure. The third one is the ease of arranging competitively priced shipments. The fourth is logistic competence and the quality of logistic services. The fifth is ability to track and trace consignments. And the sixth and the last one is possibility for shipments to reach destination within the expected delivery time. Here you can see the world map with the mark score of LPI for each country in 2018. So the darker the color is, the better the LPI score is. So therefore you see that the North America, Western Europe, Southeast Asia and Australia have the best logistic performance, while the worst performance have the countries in Africa. All Adrian countries except of Italy, except of Italy, belong to the countries with the middle level of logistic performance. Based on the LPI in 2018 that covered 160 countries worldwide and included almost 6,000 assessments made by the logistic professionals, the top 5 countries were Germany, Sweden, Belgium, Austria, and Japan. Out of these 160 ranked countries, Adrian countries are almost all in the first 80 ranked ones. Neither one is in the first 10, and only Italy is in the first 20 ranked countries. This table shows the LPI score and rank of Adrian countries in comparison to Germany, that is the best ranked country in the world. You see Germany is number 1 with the LPI score 4.2, Italy 19th with a score 3.74, and Albania 88 with a score 2.66. Now I will show you the change of performance of every Adrian country from 2007 to 2018. LPI of Italy, in 2007, Italy had a position 22 and moved to position 19 in 2018. Timeliness and tracking and tracing and infrastructure have the best scores. Italy showed improvement in all 6 criteria. The greatest improvement was in infrastructure, but we can say that customs need some further improvements. Slovenia moved from position 37 in 2007 to position 35.
I'm sorry to interrupt you.
Yes,
Sonia, can you hear me? We cannot see the presentation. I'm sorry for the interruption.
So Slovenia moved from position 37 in 2007 to position 35 in 2018. Timelines and infrastructure have the best scores, but there was some decrease of performance in tracking and tracing and international shipments. The greatest improvement was in the field of customs, and there was a significant decrease of performance in logistic competence. Based on the current score, we can say that tracking and tracing will need some further improvements. Croatia moved from position 63 in 2007 to position 49 in 2018. Timelines has the best score. We can see that there was a significant increase of performance since 2007 to 2012. Unfortunately, since 2012, this is the blue line, there is no greater progress. Greatest improvement was achieved in infrastructure and customs, but we can say that tracking and tracing and international shipments would need some further improvements. Bosnia and Herzegovina moved from position 88 in 2007 to position 72 in 2018. Timelines has the best score. Also the same situation as Croatia. There was significant improvements until 2012, the blue line. but since 2012 there is no significant improvement. The greatest improvement was in timelines and international shipments, while infrastructure and customs in Bosnia still needs further improvements. Serbia moved from position 115 in 2007 to position 65 in 2018. Timelines has the best score. The same situation as in previous countries, significant progress from 2007 to 2014. After 2014 until 2018, there was no greater improvement. Greatest improvement was achieved in international shipments and timelines, while customs and infrastructure still need some further improvements. There are no data for Montenegro for 2007 because Montenegro was in union with Serbia until 2006. So the first LPI score for Montenegro was recorded in 2010. And in 2010, Montenegro was on the position 121 and moved to position 77 in 2018. Timelines has the best score. There was significant improvement from 2010 to 2014. Unfortunately, since 2014 to 2018, there is no significant progress in logistic performance of Montenegro. A greatest improvement was in timelines and also significant in infrastructure, but infrastructure and customs as well as tracking and tracing still need some further improvements. Albania moved from position 139 in 2007 to position 88 in 2018. Timelines has the best score. Significant improvement between 2007 and 2012, but since 2012 there is even a decrease of performance. The greater improvement was in timelines, tracking and tracing, as well as international shipments, but infrastructure and customs still need some further improvements. Greece moved from position 29 in 2007 to position 42 in 2018, so there was a slight decrease in logistic performance from 2014 to 2018. Timelines and international shipments have the best scores. There was decrease of performance in all criteria except in customs and international shipments. And according to the current rank and score, infrastructure and customs need some further improvements. Let's see where the Adrian countries are in comparison to the other.
Sorry, Sanja, is it?
Continue with the slide. Well,
yes, thank you.
The position. Let's see what is the position of Adrian countries in the comparison to the rest of the world. Well, most of the Adrian countries are in the second quintile, recognized as the consistent performers in the field of logistics. Only Italy moved to the top quintile of performers and recognized as a logistically friendly country, while Albania is unfortunately still a bit behind and belongs to the third quintile, recognized as a partial performer. And to conclude at the end, in order to improve their logistic performances, most of the Adrian countries still require construction and reconstruction of transport infrastructure, as well as simplifying and speeding up of custom procedures. We could see that most of these countries had a significant improvement of their logistic performance until 2014 or 2012, and since then there is rather some stagnation in improvement of logistic performance in all Adrian countries. On the other side, there are also some positive thoughts, like all Adrian countries are well performing on the timelines. And we can say that there could be a made relation between the logistic competence and overall LPI, because the countries that show constant improvement of logistic competence have linear improvement of their overall LPI. Talking about the future, according to the World Economic Forum, there will be following 8 mega trends that are likely to drive the future of logistics all around the world. also in the Adrian regions. So these 8 megatrends are logistics skill shortage, restructuring of global value chains, resilience, digital transformation of supply chain, sustainability of supply chain, e-commerce, logistics infrastructure, and collaborative business models. Thank you very much for your attention. If you have any questions, please do not hesitate to contact me. Thank you very, very much.
Sanja, thank you so much for your presentation. Unfortunately, we have some technical issues that didn't make it possible for your presentation to be fully available. In any case, it will be uploaded after the end of the conference. For anyone who would like more information, can directly contact Sanja. Thank you so much. The next session, looking into the future. What is the sustainability in maritime industry, and what is the role of ShortSeaShipping in the transport world in the future with the horizon of 2030? I will initially give the floor to Krisela Hackaj, who is the director in the Institute of Albania. I will give her the floor. What is the role of the stakeholders, and how can they affect the development and optimized operation of a transport mode? Krisela, the floor is yours. Thank you for being here.
Do you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. Thank you.
Super. So first of all, allow me to thank you for the invitation, as well as the Institute of Transport in Albania, Mary, she's following us, for inviting me to basically share my takeaways, our takeaways on 2 main projects that Cooperation and Development Institute is implementing. So a few words about the Institute I'm representing here today with you. It's a think tank organization based in Tirana, which is basically focusing on connectivity agenda in the Western Balkans with a special attention to the maritime connectivity. So I will use a lot of the term South Adriatic area because the 2 projects that I was mentioning that we are implementing, one as lead partner and the other one as partner, are basically referring to Albania, Montenegro, and Regione Puglia. So this is why I will use the term the South Adriatic. So the first project is an Adrian project, and it's called Ports as Driving Wheels of Entrepreneurial. And we have in this project, in close cooperation with Durres Port, developed the energy efficiency scenarios for the port, being them short-term, medium-term, or long-term. Now, the scenarios are composed basically of 2 main components: general one, strategic one development scenario, but also specific development actions in the field of energy efficiency. Now, to come back to your introduction to my intervention, basically, we through this project fostered a collaborative approach across multi-level stakeholders, and I will explain why. So basically, CDI, which is a think tank organization, the municipality of Durres, the local government, and the University of Durres, so academia, Albania Railway, which Eneida was here today representing, and the Port of Durres. So different kind of stakeholders basically work together to foster maritime connectivity, and they signed within this project a memorandum of understanding, basically, which brings to spotlight the importance of investment in multimodality, capacity building for development, actors that are operating in maritime connectivity, digitalization of portal services, very important one, and in general, I would say innovation services for turning ports into innovation hubs that can generate development for the territories they are covering, basically. And I'm very happy that the Port of Durres has already capitalized in let's say, adopting several of the measures that we recommended through this memorandum, by also allocating the budget in implementing concrete measures of this strategy. The other project that I'm going to mention is we are leading this project. It's called South Adriatic Connectivity Governance, and is funded by the Italy, Albania, and Montenegro program. Now, this project promotes basically the need for connectivity networks in the South Adriatic, and again, here a very special focus is paid to maritime transport infrastructure. Now, some general findings that I would like to share with you that highlight basically the importance of multidimensional maritime connectivity. Well, during the research phase of this project, we basically discovered that transport is a sector where a lot of policy activity is performed. We discovered around 15 transport agreements between Albania and Italy in 2019, so being them in force out of 104 bilateral agreements that we have between those two countries. But when it comes to Albania and Montenegro, we have again a very dense cooperation in transport sector. 10 agreements out of 48 agreements in force are covering the transport sector. So this is very important. The other important factor in this area is basically Bari ports, Brindisi ports being the entry gates to the corridors, the 10T corridors, basically the Scandinavian Mediterranean. So this area is very full and very dense of people-to-people mobility. So there is also this other aspect that is very important to mention, but also trade exchanges and other economic and business relations. Again, we have signed a memorandum of understanding between Regione Puglia, Ministry of Infrastructure and Energy in Albania, and the Ministry of Maritime Affairs and Transport in Montenegro, focusing on the promotion of connectivity, of maritime connectivity in the South Adriatic area next to the regional and European structures. So these two projects basically showed us why multi-level stakeholder cooperation is crucial to bring positive cooperation dynamics into fora, into the policy agenda, but also governance plays a very important role in the development of ports in general, to increase its profits, especially I would mention in this very difficult time, in these very difficult times that we are living, so in pandemic times, for example, where the port Durres needed to adapt innovative solutions, increase the weight in general of digitalization activities. This is very important, and the times we are living requires for the ports to adopt such activities, such digitalization activities, but also the need to adapt to climate changes. Is also very important to the green economy in general, but also to perform as a security and safety provider, which is also crucial. And the other challenge that I would like to mention is the need for better integration to the regional value chains, but also to the global value chains, which are shifting because of several dynamics, which I'm not going to go into details because they are, also about geopolitics currently. Now I would like to finish with the importance that Durres port is paying to its positioning basically as a regional hub, because it's not only serves Albania in terms of services and mobility as we have heard today, but also, and I would like to give a figure here, around 10% of its trade volumes passing through the port are basically serving Kosovo, but also there is an important activity and growing activity towards North Macedonia. So this dimension of turning into a regional hub is very important for the sustainability and also for the resilience of the port in these times. So here, several partners, and I will come back to where we started our discussion. So the multi-level partners are very important in terms of raising the attention to those topics that are now in the agenda. My last point covers basically the economic and investment plan, which covers the period 2021-2027, which has been adopted by the European Commission in October, and basically covers the whole region of the Western Balkans, so not just Albania and Montenegro that I was referring to before. And it foresees around 9 milliards of euro for 10 flagship initiatives in this region. And one of them is basically supporting Port of Durres in the dimension that I was referring to before. So here, the cooperation between different levels of stakeholders has proved to be very, very, very important when it comes to bringing to fora the needs, the challenges that the ports are facing, but also the network, which is very important. The need for the port to dialogue with at political level, but also at technical level. These are very important aspects that should let's say, be part of any development strategy that the ports authorities should have while transitioning to different kind of development challenges. So I'm here for any kind of question that you would like me to respond. And again, I thank you very much for the opportunity to share our main findings in these two projects.
Thank you so much for your presentation and a full insight of a set of information that could and should be useful for all us experts in the future. I would like to inform you that in case of questions or queries or further information, please feel free to write your question in the chat. And at the end of the session, we will all have a look into the questions submitted. Continuing, I will slightly change the list of the presenters. I will introduce Professor Dimitris Liridis because due to technical issues in the plenary session, it was not possible for him to present the main findings of the Multi-APRO project concerning the transport performance strategy. So I would like to give the floor to him as he may introduce the main objectives tackled within Multi-APRO to what concerns key performance indicators. Professor Liridis Dimitri, can you hear us?
Yes, I can hear you. The thing is whether you can hear me.
We can hear you. You can share the presentation if you wish.
Okay. Good morning, everybody. Sorry about earlier. I was connected, but I was not able to speak or be heard. In any case, I would like to take the opportunity to thank Adrian and also the coordinator for this project, which has been very interesting for us. And let me dig a little bit into the more technical aspects of the project and make a brief presentation of one part that measures the performance of the strategies. Essentially, the main goal of Multi-APRO was to coordinate through four different approaches: a bottom-up approach for the identification of bottlenecks, coordination and production of guidelines and measures for the promotion of intermodality, and then establishment essentially of the intermodal network. The idea was to measure this performance strategy in order to eliminate both infrastructure that was either coordinated or irrational, to enable a simple analysis among different investments, and essentially develop a quality management scheme in order to measure the quality of the MOS concept. To do this, we used three steps: identify the transport elements and the correlation among these, and identify objective indicators, then identify the performance tool, the architecture, the algorithm, test it, and then select pilot cases for the application of this tool and identify and make an analysis of what the results of this pilot application was. So these tools were essentially three different tools: the key performance indicators for the assessment of various categories, which we will see a little bit later, quantification of the impact of the infrastructure investments in various transport modes, and then technical support for the planning process of ports and transport operators for assessing and deciding on where the infrastructure investments should go. The key performance indicators were organized in 7 different categories: intermodal indicators, for example, throughput of the port, quality of level of services, quality of level of services, traffic indicators that describe the traffic activity of every node in the transport chain, throughput of the port, ship calls, etc. Financial indicators that describe 2 main aspects, that is both the financial status of the transport node and terminal and how to value the investment. Operational indicators that detect how efficient the operations in the port are. Digitalization indicators, how these operations and the level of these transport services were affected. Environmental indicators regarding the sustainability of the port system. And finally, safety and security indicators, which were mainly compliance indicators with the various codes for safety and security. The next step was to formulate the development methodology, which was to identify specific pilot cases for the application, filling a relative questionnaire by the partners that were involved in the project, identify the specific key performance indicators, the parameters we measure for each pilot activity, and then analyze the results, develop the algorithm with which this assessment takes place, and then try and assess what are the conclusions, the assessment of the results. The pilot cases we chose were 5 in the project. So it was for the Port of Piraeus, the new car terminal. For the Port of Koper, we focused on the extension of Pier 1 and the further rearrangement of the existing facilities. In the Port of Ploče, we focused on the new liquid cargo terminal and the tanker berth. Port of Bar was the extension of the Volužica quay. And in the Port of Saranda was the extension of the existing quay and the construction of the yacht marina. So we sent the questionnaire to these 5 ports, and they each filled the questionnaire. The questionnaire itself was organized in 3 major categories. First was what was the organization, details, activities. It focused on the investment by the port. What were the investment made? Where were the involved stakeholders, the maturity, the technical requirements, financial data of the investment, capex, opex, etc. And then what were the impact of the investment to the wider strategies and policies, and what were they expecting from this infrastructure in terms of the impact, both in financial and environmental terms. So if you wanted to assess the results, what we essentially did, and that was the pilot application, was scope the assessment, see what we needed to create with this assessment, screen the results of the performance tool with 2 scenarios for every case, then see what was the stakeholder participation in this exercise. We identified the correlation with other investments within the organization, so to avoid overlap, to see whether there were overlaps or policy, let's say, failures or strategy failures in terms of deciding which investments to adopt. Then identify also synergies and conflicts among the KPIs we chose. So it was also a test for the tool itself. And then the final conclusion was proposing changes towards the final investment by the port, suggestions. So essentially what we did was develop a port quality management system through a systematic analysis of the bottlenecks, analysis of the transport intermodality and the short-sea shipping services, and development of measurable quality indicators. Why we did this? One of the major goals of motorways of EUSR is motorways of the sea and short-sea shipping concepts. And therefore, the establishment of the quality management in ports is a competitive advantage in this area. Now, in motorways of the sea specifically, there are features that in order to be achieved, there has to be clear specific quality criteria that every node and every part of the transport chain should identify. These criteria were identified based on the outputs of the Multi-APRO project. So this was the major contribution of the technical part, the development of this port quality management system that will be or should be, according to our results, applied. Thank you very much for your attention. Yes, it should be applied in this case in order to have an efficient transportation chain. This was my brief presentation of the project, and we're open to questions or follow-up.
Dimitris, thank you very much for your presentation and your speech. Indeed, it was a very important milestone in the Multi-APRO project. Again, the presentation will be uploaded at the end of the conference in the dedicated site. Continuing, I would like to make a last effort with Darko Plećaš from the Port of Ploče. Would it be possible to connect with him?
So good afternoon. So please, can you go to the next slide? So as you can see from previous situation, we all know that the ICT infrastructure is very important, especially in the port areas. So within the Multi-APRO project, Port of Ploče Authority has focused basically in pilot activities in a way that show that lack of information of information system and exchange of information is crucial part in the port areas. So basically, can you go to the... So Port of Ploče Authority is a public body, administrative body, and we are practically under our concern is the Port of Ploče area regarding concessionaires and everything what happens in the Port of Ploče. We permanently raising the safety and security in the port area of Ploče, and we are trying to improve and speed up the port procedures within the logistics chain. So basically, we have developed the port community system, and in Croatia, we are speaking about Croatia, and why this is important, you will see later on these slides. And our port community system and know-how has been upgraded to on the national level and used for development of the national port community system, which will be used in every port. So this is important because, as we see it, main bottleneck and main the problems is exchange of information. And if you have the good systems and good exchange information, then this information can be shared among the whole stakeholders, and they can get this information on time. Can you please move to the next slide? So the Port of Ploče Authority has developed in the Ploče area the new entrance terminal. And regarding the roads, traffic roads, we are connected directly to the highway. So basically this kind of infrastructure, we don't have any problems regarding this. And this highway is directly connected to the Port of Ploče area. And in Port of Ploče area, we are investing lots of we are investing lots of in the new terminals, for example, for the dry bulk, for the container terminal, for the liquid cargo terminal, and etc. One of the main problems is that if you have the port community system, you have to share this information, of course, to the other stakeholders. And we are trying to connect this system to the other subsystems which are used on the terminals which are existing in the port area of Ploče. And if we share this kind of information, I think that these bottlenecks will be solved in a way that no one will wait. So now in the new entrance terminal, we have issues regarding customs, regarding the freight forwarders, regarding the terminals, regarding the everything. And practically with development of the national system, we will also get the new standardized procedures, which will be used practically in all ports, and we will connect the port community system with the national systems regarding the customs, regarding the police, regarding the maritime side of the cargo, and everything. So can you please go to the next slide? Can you? Okay. So within the pilot activity, we are still finishing these kind of activities. So we had some major activities, so which we have to be resulted within the project. So we want to develop the interface service, which will be used for ship traffic display based on integration with IIS system. We aim to resolve bottlenecks and increasing operability in the port area. Why do we want this? Because we had some major issue on the liquid cargo terminal when the ship has broke down the coast and everything has stopped. So for me, in the way of digitalization, we had the problem of exchanging the information because this aspect of systems are still under development, and there is no automatic exchange information. It's based on the human to human, not machine to machine communication. One of the activities was also development of the service bus for receiving the messages for from the national IIS system with aim to harmonize data and services for the development of an interface for exchange of data between IIS system and the PCS system. So if we are developing the port community system, our aim is to put the port community system as a core infrastructure system which connects in the public with the public systems to which gather this information and then distributed it on the local area to the other subsystem in the port of Ploče area. So this is the near future. Because and we will practically with the development of the national system, we will have everything by the next year on the practically national. So practically we have the aim to know how from the port of Ploče somehow use it on the national level with development of the national systems. So can you go? Also, one of the aim is to in the future, which is integration of security operational sector. So if you are talking of safety, we always have the security. We have the physical security, but nowadays we have the cyber security, we have information security, we have everything. And if we have good roads and good connectivity, this connectivity cannot exist if you don't have the crucial thing, exchange of information in digital way. So if you don't have the system information, so this connectivity doesn't have any results. So can you go to the other slide, please? So one of the future things, as I said, we want to exchange functionalities regarding integration with IIS base station and traffic image application for VTS center and SAN MRC operation report of Ploče authority. So basically we are trying to connect with national system to get this kind of information. The good things from the multi-APRO project is that we can combine the activities from this project, so we can combine with some activities from other projects, and Port of Ploče authority is a project partner in many of these projects, so we can combine it when we finish something in one project. It's a good start in some other projects. So we have one goal to increase the operability in the development of the future IT systems. So can you please go with the next slide? So this is an example of what we want. For example, we have this system for the VTS part. Can you go to the another slide? And this is an example of the window for this kind of system. To another slide, please. Can you go to another slide? So basically, this is from Port community system. Basically, we want to integrate with this part of the subsystem which are dealing with IIS messages and for the VTS center and everything. So in the future that we don't have any kind of problems with exchanging information for the ship's arrival and departure and any other parts in the port of Ploče area. Can you go to the other side, please? And this is also some example for the port community system where we are getting information regarding the ships, vessels, regarding announcements and some service requests. Can you go to the other side? For example, this is one example of vessel announcement with data which are exchanged from other systems. This data shall be exchanged on national level to the port community system Ploče, and then this data will be shared on the local level to other subsystems. Can you go to other slide? So future scenarios. So this is basically the port of Ploče area. We want to develop the IT infrastructure. We are developing the new jetty, which are also included in the KPIs within these projects. we have shared this information regarding the KPIs. We are building, we are upgrading the entrance terminals, container terminals, everything regarding the layways. So can you go to the next slide, please? So practically, this is the near future. This is the new jetty, which we are talking regarding the KPIs in the analysis, which are already presented earlier from our colleagues. This is the old port where you see the city of Ploče. That's the new tank terminal, existing jetty, but in near future, next year, we will start building this new jetty. So if you want to collect all the information, share this information, if you want the flow of cargo to be in a good way, we need a good exchange platform. And we see that this kind of bottlenecks of exchanging information can be solved with Google ICT platform like Port Community System, which is practically a local hub for exchange information from the national administrative public part to the local private part of terminals and terminal operators. So can you please go to the next slide?
Darko, is it possible?
Oh,
okay.
Yes. Thank you for your attention. Thank you for your attention. So this is practically it. So basically, from the multi-APRO, we get a good new how from the partners, other partners, and we exchange lots of information and practically get a good start for practically start with something new from other projects. So thank you for your attention. So if you have any questions, you can send me a question. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Darko, for your presentation. You gave us a full insight of your experience through the multi-APRO, and it was very nice cooperating with you in this project. Again, the presentation of Darko will be uploaded on the conference's website, so it will be fully available. I will continue and focus on a more restricted area than intermodal transport. We would like now to focus in ShortSeaShipping and what is the role of ShortSeaShipping as part of a wider transport system, and how do we see it evolving in the next years. I would like to give the floor to Markus Nölke. He's the Managing Director of the ShortSeaShipping Inland Waterway Promotion Center. Is it possible to give the floor to Markus? Okay, I will continue to the next speaker and give Markus the chance after the next speaker. Let's move to Sandro Vidas, to Mr. Sandro Vidas. He's the director of the Croatian Ship Owners Association Mare Nostrum. What is the future of SSS, of ShortSeaShipping, in terms of sustainability? How will decarbonization contribute to an efficient transport system in the future? Can we connect with Mr. Vidas and give him the floor?
Hello, can you hear me?
Hello, good morning. Okay,
so
we're
you.
giving you the floor. The question again, what is the future of ShortSeaShipping in terms of sustainability, and how can decarbonization contribute to an efficient transport system in the future? The floor is yours. Thank you very much, Sandro.
Thank you. So I would like to congratulate to all the project partners for a successful project. I'm also president of the board of the cluster of intermodal transport. I've been following your work, and it is a pleasure to provide ship owners' perspective in the terms of intermodality. So, Croatian Ship Owners Association, we are representing 127 ships. We have committees and 11 members. The biggest in ShortSeaShipping is the Adriatic-Ionian. So I will just go a little quicker. So what affects the ship owners in the near future are actually two ways. One is from International Maritime Organization with greenhouse gas strategy. And the second one is from European Commission, is the MRV regulation, which stands for Monitoring, Reporting and Verification. So all ships above 5,000 gross tons must report their CO2 emissions. And now it's 2 years. So we've been making a scale what the ship owners could expect until 2030. And MRV is now only reporting CO2 emissions, but from 2021, we have IHM, it's an inventory of hazardous materials, which will also be part of reporting to the MRV. So in the next future, from 2022, we have emission trading scheme for the shipping. I will talk about it in the next slide. And we also expect for other emissions to be added to MRV. So for now, it's only reporting, but from 2022, we see in short sea shipping possible new financial burden for the ship owner. It will start from January 1st, 2022. And for now, we are reading from this Thetis MRV system. It's publicly available data for any ship above 5,000 GT having an EU flag. So, for example, in 3 international lines from Croatia to Italy, they emit around 32,000 tons of CO2 in 2018. And this was last week price of CO2 emission allowances. So it's 28 euros per ton. So if this price will last, it's a stock market, obviously. Hydrolenia should pay around 1 million euro per year for only 3 ships going between Croatia and Italy. So now we have a real how to say, new moments, or better to say, in shipping terms. So what is there to be done in Croatia? Cluster of intermodal transport, our Croatian Ship Owners Association and Croatian Association for Hydrogen. We are doing, so to say, a study or guidelines how to apply hydrogen, which is compressed, and this LOHC. So LOHC is a new type of hydrogen carrier, is non-flammable, and on the presentation, this is here on the open bottle. So there is a non-flammable way of transporting hydrogen, and Croatia produced this little delivery vehicle for small towns or airports, which is running on hydrogen. So there is know-how in Croatia, and we want to apply it to ports and ships. What is also new, there has been other Interreg projects, and this is an international line, for example, Zadar to Ancona. And these are hybrid ferries, which are made through the project as a scheme. We have been close to the manufacturers in Croatia who produce, how to say, PEM electropropulsion. It's permanent electromagnets, which is really interesting. And in the world, there are few producers which can do a large-sized engine for a ferry or a RoPax we need. And what is the association doing? In that perspective, we are actually corresponding to the Ministry of the Sea and doing meetings to provide new action plan for alternative fuels. And next slide. So we developed a national plan for short sea shipping. And we stated there what should be done until 2030 in Croatia. So this is example for Makarska, Sumartin. These are all short lines which could be electrified or made hybrid with non-flammable hydrogen. So this is like 2.5 years of law work, and we are, I think, 30% there, because all of these short sea shipping lines are non-profitable, which means they do not bear profit. Profit is a public procurement, and therefore state must add to the ship owner a compensation in the terms of fuel. So in Croatia, we have 45 non-profitable lines in short sea shipping because we have inhabited islands, and people in the winter must travel to the land, and therefore it's only bearing profit in the summertime due to the tourist season. So now we must change our views in terms of state aid on maritime diesel and provide, for example, hydrogen or electricity as a state aid to ensure the real goals of IMO and the European Commission, because ship owner is not there to do the research and innovation in new shipbuilding. We assume that faculties, universities in Europe and shipyards should develop a commercially available vessel which ship owner then buys on the market, because ship owners is there only to transport passengers, cargo and other terms. So we expect from the European Commission greater funds for development of large-sized vessels, which are also part of short sea shipping. So this is the plan for next year from the association. And from here you can see Trafigura is a major shipping company. They propose $300 per ton of CO2. So today is 26 euros or 28. And in the next 1 or 2 years, we can expect $300. So the ships which we have now are not energy efficient for the future we are going to. Therefore, we must all collaborate and propose new alternative fuels within our ports. I would stop now and provide the floor to the next speaker.
I thank you so much, Sandro. A lot of useful and very important information. I think they can be the basis of a huge development in the next years in terms of short sea shipping. I am not aware whether we can provide the floor to Markus now, Nölke. Mr. Nölke? Is it possible to connect again with Mr. Nölke from the Short Sea Promotion Center of Germany? Good morning, Mr. Nölke. It's nice having you here.
Good morning once again. Just a minute.
You seem to be moving places, I can see from the background.
I moved downstairs. I'm at home, and so I try to share the screen. Just a minute.
Okay.
Just a minute. I think now we have a better connection.
Yes, I think so too. We will focus on short sea shipping and the role it has as part of a wider intermodal system. Yes, Mr. Nölke, the floor is yours. Thank you.
Yes, okay. Can you see the presentation?
Yes, we can.
Okay. Yes, sorry for this interruption, but fine that I have a new chance to present my information and thoughts to you. Hello to everybody. Thank you very much for your kind invitation to today's conference. Regretfully, we can't meet us in Croatia, but at least we have the digital alternative. Yes, my name is Markus Nölke. I'm the Managing Director of the Short Sea Shipping and Inland Waterway Promotion Center, Germany. And currently, since July of this year till end of this year, I'm the chairman of the European Short Sea Network. The European Short Sea Network is an association with around 15 members. So the members are Short Sea Promotion Center from all over Europe, like from Finland, Sweden, Norway, Poland, Ireland, Germany, Spain, Portugal, Malta, Croatia, of course, Greece, Italy, and Romania, for example. And with the ESN, we communicate with the DG Move of the European Commission. And the German Short Sea Promotion Center is a little different to the others in Europe, as we have a significant inland waterway system, which you can see here on this slide on the right. And on the left, you can see the waterway system in Europe. This is continent Europe, because the question is how we define short sea shipping. But at first, I want to say to highlight the importance of short sea shipping, that 1/3 of the volume of goods in the EU is transported by short sea shipping. And to give you an example, what short sea shipping means for us in Germany, so 60% of the turnover of the German seaports was about 300 million tons in normal times, not in Corona times, in normal times, is related to the short sea shipping sector. Therefore, short sea shipping is significant for us in Germany and, of course, in Europe. When we look on the left, I want to say that from an EU perspective, the regional delimitation refers to the EU 27 member states, but we define short sea shipping not only to the EU 27, but to the continent of Europe, of course, including Turkey and Russia. And new to say is, of course, that UK is still part of the short sea shipping area. The UK market is very important for us here in Germany. And we all are waiting for the new rules from the 1st of January 21. But also we define North Africa, parts of West Africa and the Near East to the short sea shipping sector. And on this map, on the left, you can see the inland waterway system, and on the right, you can see the inland waterway system of Germany. We have something around 7,300 kilometers inland waterway system. So it's easy to see that the inland waterway system is very important for us here in Germany. So I can say that something around 205, 210 million tons per year will be transported via inland vessels. So this is to give you an overview about what how we define short sea shipping. Yes, now I want to explain the system of short sea shipping. On this slide, we have highlighted the European industrial zones we have, and currently, this is not very new, the trucking dominates the European cargo transport flow. And due to the work of the European Short Sea Network and of every short sea shipping promotion center, we have the aim to bring more blue in the whole transport chain, as you can see here, because waterways are transport resources. And this is good, for example, for our infrastructure, for the road infrastructure, the bridges, and of course for environmental reasons. Yes, let us have a look on the European Union and the politics of the European Union. The European Commission defined the political framework and its vision in a white paper, and the last white paper was for the period of 2010 or 2011 exactly till 2020. So now we are waiting for a new white paper on transport. We had the elections last year. Since December last year, we have a new commission, and now we are waiting for a new white paper on transport. But I want to highlight a conclusion of the last white paper, because there was mentioned...
Excuse me, Mr. Nölke, excuse me for interrupting. It seems that the slides are not moving. Can you please try to slide to scroll down the slides.
So in the former white paper was the conclusion that 30% of long haul over 300 kilometer freight transport by road is to be shifted to other modes of transport, such as rail and ships by 2030, over 50% by 2050. So last week I read a news about the announcement of a new paper from the EU Commission for the 9th of December. On the 9th of December, the Commission will present the new strategy for sustainability and intelligent mobility. And there is mentioned that by 2030, rail freight traffic in the EU is to grow by 50%. And by 2050, the volume is to double. And the growth targets for inland and short distance shipping are 25 and 50%. And the strategy will describe the transport policy direction of Ursula von der Leyen's Commission. And in order to strengthen rail and ship transport, the Commission wants to ensure that by 2030, these can compete with road freight transport in terms of price. The construction of multimodal shipment terminals is to be supported with the EU subsidies and an adjustment of the state aid rules. So this is what we can expect in the new strategy for sustainability and intelligent mobility. So let us, hope you can see slide number 7. Let us switch to environment and climate regulations. Here I want to highlight that short sea shipping has a leading and pioneering role in the global shipping sector. The reason is that we have emission control, so-called emission control areas in the short sea shipping area. The first emission control areas in Europe were the Baltic Sea, the North Sea, and the English Channel area. For example, in the Baltic Sea, we have since May of 2006 new regulations for SOx, and now we expect the new figures for nitrogen. In the North Sea area, including the Channel, we have strong regulations since November 2007, and also we expect new figures for the nitrogen from January 21. And ships trading in designated emission control areas have to use onboard fuel oil with a sulfur content of no more than 0.1 since 1st of January 2015, so since 5 years, and as opposed to the limit of 1% in effect up till December 31st, 2014. And this has caused the fact that the short sea shipping sector, the short sea shipping industry, had to find new ways to develop new technologies. It started with scrubbers and the using of marine gas oil. Today we are talking about hybrid technologies, flattener rotors, and so on. And in the meantime, LNG, liquefied natural gas, is increasingly becoming established as an alternative fuel. But in my opinion, as outlook in the future, I think a very good option can be green produced hydrogen, for example, with wind energy. I think this can be the future of the shipping industry to close to the aim zero emission. And yes, as I said, short sea shipping plays a pioneering role due to the ECA sectors, and the global shipping sector will profit from it. because now we can see the big container vessels, the first big container vessels which also use LNG. And the fact is that all new technological advances are generally implemented in the short sea shipping sector first. So this is the reason why we say when we promote short sea shipping, shipping is still the most environmental friendly mode of transport. This is a message from the IMO, and short sea shipping plays the leading and pioneering role. So my last slide is the reason is that I think when we talk about the situation of short sea shipping in Europe, we have to talk about the consequences of the corona pandemic. And last week there was a study published in Germany from the PwC Maritime Competence Center. They publish every year a ship owner study. And this one is from last week. Regretfully, it's only in German available, but it is also from the view from the German ship owners. The title of this study was Drive on Site in Corona Times, study on the current situation and perspectives of German shipping companies. And there was one statement in the study that the corona pandemic could permanently change the trade flows. And this can be very important for the development of the short sea shipping sectors. And they published a press release and said in this study that corona pandemic could permanently change trade flows. And looking into the future, the majority of decision makers from 95 shipping companies surveyed in Germany assume that short-haul transports will increase again, and that regional transport will thus gain in importance. However, it is controversial whether the expected regionalization is a flash in the pan development. 46% of decision makers believe that the trend will reverse again after the end of the corona crisis. And this assessment is particularly common among decision makers from larger shipping companies, while decision makers from smaller shipping companies, and here we talk about the short sea shipping sectors, tend to expect more sustainable regionalization and shifts in trade flows. Ship owners are generally cautious about the growth prospects up to 2025. 52% of decision makers expect an increase in global freight volumes compared with 67% a year ago. In contrast, the proportion of pessimistic observers has risen. 12% currently see a further decline in freight volume compared with 7% a year ago. And in a press release, the head of the Maritime Competence Center, Mr. Wortmann, said, because this is important if we compare with the new aims of the EU Commission, he said a shift in trade flows would not necessarily be accompanied by a decline in transport volumes. However, it cannot be ruled out that road and rail freight transport would be more likely to benefit from a shift on short and medium distances at the expense of ocean shipping. Nevertheless, this development may represent an opportunity for shipping companies that focus on short-haul transport. And at this point, it is worth recalling the objective of the new EU strategy. In order to strengthen rail and ship transport, the Commission wants to ensure that by 2030, these can compete with road freight transport in terms of price. And in this case, Dr. Wortmann's assessment that road and rail would benefit more would not come true. But the study, PwC, also sees this as an opportunity for the short sea sector, and I can only support that. And in the end, all of this could fit together. The aims of the new strategy for mobility and sustainability, and the facts here from the study. So that's from my side. Thank you very much for your kind attention, and please apologize problems with technical matters.
Thank you so much, Mr. Nölke. Thank you for the very rich presentation and so many information regarding ShortSeaShipping and their development in the region and in the world. I will have to conclude with all the presentations at the moment. I would like to thank all the presenters. Thank you very much for such a rich session. I think we have covered and tackled intermodal transport from many sides on many aspects. I am glad we had presentations on a multidisciplinary approach, such as the Multi-APRO project, with presenters coming from the academia, research centers, port authorities, business, and our favorite short sea promotion centers. I would like to ask, at this point, I would like to inform you that all the presentations will be made available on the dedicated side of the Multi-APRO project. The consortium is very glad and will be very glad to provide you with any further information on the implementation of the activities and the promotional events and capitalization actions we are going to adopt for in the near future. I would like to invite all the people here to take a family photo, if this is possible by the technical support. And then I would like to give to ask the technical operator to play a number of videos dedicated to the pilot case studies performed within the transport performance strategy for a number of participating ports. So if we can take the family photo and then play the video of mainly the port of Saranda, to be honest, as it was a very successful video concerning the pilot.
The port of Saranda is the most attractive port in the southern region of Albania, which lies in the Ionian region. City port of Saranda promotes the coastal country with a rich Mediterranean tradition, a unique culture, a strategic position and its distinct historical evolution with the neighboring countries and EU member states, like Greece and Italy. In these last 5 years, the number of tourists visiting the port of Saranda has increased by 270% and it is expected to increase more in the next years. A much more increased capacity and improved mobility and infrastructure and digital services and GIS will be among the investments adopted by the Multi-APRO regional participation, leading to bigger number of tourists and its visibility. Port of Saranda has been selected for the pilot test in the range of 6 biggest ports of our Adrian region, which has given positive results. We have to thank for this the National Technical University of Athens and the Port of Piraeus. The Albanian Ministry of Infrastructure and Energy has been cooperating with all the factors for the green lanes and corridors where our Saranda is involved with Cape Boat Albania to Greece. This pilot test gives us the chance to provide the feasibility through co-fundings in order to achieve the specific and thematic objectives such as the transformation of our port into a key nodal point in Adriatic-Ionian area, the improvement of access to new markets, the creation of new job, the increasing of passenger traffic, the development of touristic area. We are truly honored to be an essential part of such an EU project. Thank you very much, Multi-APRO.
In case we have concluded, maybe we can play the video from the port of Saranda. I would like to thank everyone for participating and looking forward to cooperating and meeting with you all live at some point. Thank you all.